On today's episode of You Asked, what's on the way from Sony to replace the Bravia 9, and should you still consider buying a Bravia 9 in 2026 versus the more recent competition? And why does picture quality take a dip in game mode? Welcome back to the channel, everyone. This is You Asked, the show where we answer your tech questions. If you've got something you want to know, send your question in to youasked@digitaltrends.com. And don't forget to tune into the show to see if your question has been selected. The first question is an easy one, kinda. Will Gatlin8229 asks, what's taking the Sony Bravia 9's place in 2026? Well, that would be whatever Sony has up their sleeve for their RGB backlit TV. The term OLED killer gets thrown around a lot, and who knows if this could fit that description, but I'd bet it'll be among the top mini LED options we see this year, presumably named the Bravia 10. Will it actually match or get that close to OLED black levels? We'll see, but what gives me confidence is how much time Sony's had to work on it. For the last few years, they've staggered their big releases. We saw the A95L QD OLED in 2023, and they didn't follow that up with their next QD OLED until the Bravia 8 Mark II in 2025. Same with Mini LED. The Bravia 9 came out back in 2024, and its successor won't arrive until this year, 2026. And honestly, with how much we're constantly hit in the face with new things, I don't mind it. Not to mention, Sony's TVs and really every brand's higher end TVs are so good now that we probably don't need new releases in every category every year. But I guess that would get kind of boring. Anyway, got a little off topic. I think Sony's been able to take their time, kind of study the field and see how they can make the Bravia 10 another banger. At least that's what I'm hoping for. In the meantime though, the Bravia 9 is no slouch and remains one of the best TVs available. And it's at a much more relatively affordable price than it was when it was released. If I was in the market for a new TV and it fit my budget, it would definitely be on my short list. Up next, Tony Jix8 says, why do we lose picture quality in game mode? I tried everything and the colors pop more in other TV picture modes versus game mode on a console or PC. I have a TCL QM6K. So one of the things that makes game mode optimal for gaming is a fast input lag. You want to see what's coming from the console or PC on the TV as lightning fast as possible, especially for first-person shooters and online gaming. In order to do that and send the video signal quickly, the TV turns off a bit of its picture processing. If you want the very best in terms of color and image quality, the TV needs to do a little more work to make it shine. But those precious milliseconds can be fatal for gamers. Fatal in a sense of their character online. If you're finding the picture not to your liking and probably a bit cooler than you'd like, I'd recommend making a few changes within game mode yourself. You can adjust the color by making changes to the color temperature, hue, and saturation within the calibration settings. You could also make some adjustments to brightness and contrast. Just be sure not to push things too far so you don't get an overly sharpened, overly saturated, bright and crunchy image. Sometimes you'll even find that games have different modes that can affect picture quality as well. Spider-Man 2, for example, can be played in fidelity or performance mode. Fidelity gives you a more detailed image with more clarity and some nuances on different surfaces within the game. Performance mode, on the other hand, prioritizes frame rate stability, which can make for smoother action scenes in combat and moving across the city. So whatever you're playing, maybe check those settings in your console settings to see what will work best for you. Just Stay 16 has a buying decision to make. They say, I'm trying to decide between the 85-inch TCL QM 8K at $2,000, the 98-inch TCL QM 7K for $2,500, or the 100-inch Hisense U8QG or 85-inch Sony Bravia 9, both of which come in at $3,000. Between those four, which would you go with? I'm torn. I want bigger as I'm coming from a 77-inch LG CX. However, my main concern with Hisense and TCL, especially at 98 inches, is the loss in picture quality and detail. Is there a noticeable difference from those to the Bravia 9? Well, I think there is a little bit of a noticeable difference if you were to put them all side by side, but by themselves, they're all gorgeous TVs. But speaking of what's noticeable, I'm more concerned with you noticing the difference between 77 inches and 85. You mentioned wanting to go bigger, but will the jump to an 85-inch TV be as impactful as going to 98 or 100 inches? Probably not. As long as you've got the room for it and can handle a TV dominating the space with its size, those extra large TVs are a lot of fun, and I think you'd really enjoy it. I'd say go for the Hisense U8QG. Its picture quality, contrast, and brightness are a step above the QM7K. The only thing that gives me pause is that you're coming from an OLED TV, and in that case, I think the Bravia 9 does get closer to that level of contrast and picture processing. Otherwise, go big. You'll be blown away by everything you watch. And a TV of the U8QG's caliber does a great job of processing and upscaling. So even at that extra large size, you're getting a great clean image. That's all for this week, guys. I have a few more that I wish I had time to get to, but it's been a very busy week. Thanks as always for sending in your questions, and thank you for your time. It means a lot that you guys just tune in to check out the show. We'll see you in the next video.